go to UKIP's Gerard Batten. The sort of policies that you're putting forward don't seem to be taking us any further forward, do they? You want the veil banned. You want no new mosques to be built. You want a code of conduct that Muslims come into this country would have to sign. Doesn't that show a total lack of tolerance of the same mould?
Well, if I'm allowed to answer the 3 points you've made, we didn't say we want the veil banned. We said what we want is the same rule for everybody in public places, which is if a lady can walk into a bank with a veil, then a gentleman has to go in with a balaclava or a crash helmet. Outside on the street...
But that's effectively saying ban the veil. It's
what it's saying is, the whole point about this debate about multiculturalism is that you must have the same rules for all people. You cannot have different sections of society operating under different laws. In the street, where people can wear what they like, but in a public place, whether it be a state-sponsored, you know, a building or a private business. What I said about that now.
Let him say why he wants no new mosques.
What I said, I made a comment back in 2008 when I was running for the London mayor. I said I would not allow... Am I allowed to speak? Am I allowed to speak?
We're with you.
What I said was, I personally wouldn't allow any more planning permission for mosques until there was a non-Muslim place of worship allowed in the Arabian Peninsula. A church... Now, the reason for this...
This is what you really mean.
The reason that I'm saying this, or said it, was because we have to have this... The Muslims in this country have been free to build mosques since 1889, but the Muslims will not allow a non-Muslim place of worship in their own... Because it's not a natural law.
Enough there. I know somebody is sitting on this panel who's absolutely fed up with the way politicians are interpreting the whole subject, and that's Mo Ansar. Go on, give us your say.
I think one of the things that's been absolutely clear this evening is that, firstly, to correct some of the misconceptions, the economic debate is over. Immigrants, overwhelmingly, whether you listen to the OECD, whether you listen to the Institute of Public Policy Research, they all say the same thing, which is immigrants are good. They're good at tackling the deficit, they're good culturally, they're good economically. So what we're left with is an argument based on fear and prejudice and hysteria. And
no, don't you actually believe that the politicians are buying into that?
They're promoting it.
I think the politicians... Hold on. Thank you. I think the politicians are feeding into a fear and hysteria that's out there. We know that there's evidence come forward recently to say somewhere in the region of 78% of the British public know little or nothing about Islam, and this is in 2014. The argument...
Why should they?
Well, we are a
they're
pluralist.
British citizens.
We are a pluralist. We are a pluralist, multi-faith. We are a pluralist, multi-faith. We are a pluralist, multi-faith, multicultural society. Now, what we've seen is the rise of the far right across Europe. We know that UKIP are members of the European Freedom and Defence Movement, which allies together all of the far right parties. Many. If I can address that.
European.
Hold on. I'll ask you a direct question, right? Mario Borghese, who is a member of the EFD, said that he defended and upheld the views and the values of Anders Breivik, who was a mass murderer, okay, and a killer. Nigel Farage's co-chair of that group, who is part of the far-right fascist group in Italy, also shares those views. Now, Nigel Farage, to his credit, turned around and said, I tell you what, if you take that back, if you withdraw those views, we won't withdraw from the EFD. If you don't withdraw those views, we will withdraw from this group. And do you know what? Borghese came out and gave a speech when he actually said Europe should be white and we uphold the values of Anders Breivik, and Nigel Farage has not left.
Before we get bogged down, before we get bogged down into the detail of that, do you believe that the UKIP effect has been prominent amongst our three regular parties now? Do you believe they're beginning to speak the same rhetoric?
I think UKIP is a very, very ugly tail that's beginning to wag a political dog, right? And I think it's about time that communities in this country started having a nuanced debate, and I'm very grateful to my friend Tim for being able to speak eloquently about some of the nuanced debate. This isn't about prejudice. This isn't about hate. We can be a hopeful and a positive society. We don't have to give into the politics of fear. Over and over again, this country has become great by pushing away extremist views like that of UKIP, like that, and I don't particularly like extremist views, whether it's Tommy Robinson or whether it's Anjem Choudhury or whether it's
no, I can't remember who said it, but somebody said that any politician who speaks about immigration in a nuanced way doesn't get elected.
Well, that may be true. Well, maybe we should start having a very careful and clear discussion about immigration. Muslims are not the problem. Immigrants are not the problem. We have a problem in this country.
Who's the problem?
I'll tell you, we have a problem in this country. We have a problem in this country where for years... Wait, no, give me the courtesy, please. We have a problem in this country where for years and decades we have not invested into the infrastructure. We need immigration. We have an ageing... generally, if you don't mind me saying, a generally white, British, ageing population. We desperately need young people and migrant workers to come in and to pay those bills.
OK, good point for me to come in.